Hello and welcome back. So today we're coming back for another mod review, but today we're going to do something a little bit different. We're going to be doing a twofer review. So we're going to be reviewing some complementary mods. The first one up is going to be TGs Andromeda's Palace. This mod's been out for a while, so if you didn't already bought this and already know all about it, you can go ahead and skip to the next one, which is going to be Bard's Neuro Link home, ship, and outpost unlocker. Kind of doing this as a twofer because these are complementary mods, and testing out that bards on another mod would be appropriate just to make sure the functionality is all working and everything. But we're going to start off with TG's Andromeda's Palace and then go from there. TG's Andromeda's Palace does give you a quest marker to help find this, but it is on Cassiopeia 1 in the Eta Cassiopeia system. This is the same planet and area for Sarah Morgan's affinity quest. She has modified the area slightly, but it will not impact the quest itself. So you'll still be able to do the quest without, any kind of impact where you wouldn't be able to progress through that. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm playing this footage sped up a little bit because this is a rather large player home. Um, it's quite extensive, to say the least, and I'd like to show it all off to you instead of, just picking and choosing certain parts and pieces. But as we can see, nice little intro here as you walk off your landing pad. You have the lights and everything. Very good attention to detail. You'll pick up like the little thing that makes this home your home. And as we get in here, we can see that it is what I would say partially furnished. So some of the furniture has been laid out for you. Some of it has not. There is a lot of opportunity for individuals to go ahead and decorate this up. We have some very interesting rooms going on here. The lighting in this room kind of hurts my brain a little bit, but as we can see, there is a lot of detail. The layout of this house makes tons of sense. We have some rooms which are completely unfurnished, and then we also have some really nice details like these floors, which actually show lava streams below, and is just like a perfect little accent point there. And as we can see, other rooms are basically almost completely furnished, but yet again, the attention to detail, you'll find like light switches in all these rooms here. Um, some things are going to be furnished more than others, and it's going to be really inviting you, the player, to go ahead and kind of finish off and decorate the rest of this the way you like. As we can see, we did find this one fully furnished room here for you, but the rest of it is kind of partially furnished to not furnished at all. We do have like this nice little office space up here, kind of with that center focal point of the crystals and the lava and everything. It all seems to be kind of centered around that. And we do have like a three-floor structure going on here with what I would kind of envision as like a master bedroom at the top. But this is not it. There is actually a lot more outside this place as well, which makes this place very much worthwhile. We have this like kind of old shop here, which seems kind of run down, etc. Most of this place kind of looks like it's been abandoned for a while. I think that's kind of the aesthetic she's going for with it. But we do have this really nice infinity pool up ahead here, which has kind of like these cliffside views of the jungle and the forest below. Just really stellar design on this myself. Very aesthetically pleasing. I would say I'm not much of a player home person, but this is quality enough to kind of make me want to use a player home. But beyond that, we have stuff that's like hidden underneath. So she's made excellent use of the space to kind of condense a lot of content in this player home into a very small area and make it look spacious at the same time. So we have this whole like kind of undercroft area down here, and as you can see on the ground, we do have like some build menus. So if we wanted to, we very well could build down here as well. That's going to be part of the next mod we're looking at, but we're not going to bother with that now. Okay, maybe we'll bother with it a little bit, but very well designed indeed. This has awesome lighting. She really did do a wonderful job in designing this and utilizing this space to make very open, spacious areas, but also at the same time, everything is kind of very densely packed and not, too far away from everything else. So it's not too spread out, kind of doing this like vertical stacking design where it seems to have like a very natural flow to it. And then we can even find like this kind of little, I don't know what I would call this, like a shack up or like a tree house almost, but there's build menus everywhere, so you'll be able to customize this to your own liking. And overall, I found this to be a very enthralling player home. I'm not one to actually play with player homes. I'm more of an outpost builder myself, but I very much did enjoy the design of this. It does, it's kind of inviting to see it like partially furnished, where it doesn't feel too daunting of a task to furnish this out over time, but it's, not completely furnished, so it leaves you something to do with this player home. And I will say there is like a whole series of trails all around this player home, so definitely worth exploring the area around it. So next up is going to be Bard's Neuro Link home ship and outpost unlocker. This is more of a how do I say this? Mechanics adjustment to some of the systems. Basically, this is going to allow you to assign companions and crew members to player homes, which you can't really do in the base game itself. It also unlocks all the build menu categories on ships and player homes, and it removes research requirements for objects in the build menu. Plus, it does give you a plus 15 skill bonus to manipulation. Very nice to have. But one thing I do like is that he kind of put like a little tiny quest and a little tiny storyline to explain this object in the game. But we're going to go ahead and listen to it now.
Well, looks like my little message found its mark. Name's Silas Creed. Not that it matters, you're not hearing my real voice anyway. This nice filter here keeps folks like me from being tracked by the wrong people. Gotta stay one step ahead in this line of work, Now, down to business. Word on the street is you and your constellation boss got a thing for shiny tech. Lucky for you, I've come across some premium hardware. Courtesy of an ex-Ryogen Industries employee who wasn't exactly through with their severance package. Let's just say it fell into my lap, and now it can fall into yours. This stuff, it's the real deal. Perfect for tinkering with ships or outposts, whatever floats your fancy. If you're interested, head over to the Emporium in Neon and talk to Tevin. He's holding the goods for me, but don't waste his time with questions. Tevin doesn't do small talk, and he sure as hell won't spill any intel. Here's the thing. I don't do freebies, and neither does he. You want it, you pay for it. No haggling, no games. Take it or leave it. Oh, and one last thing. Don't try to trace this message. You'll only find yourself chasing shadows. See you around. Or maybe you won't.
So that data slate is going to be added to your inventory upon starting up the game after you install it. Very convenient to kind of start this quest. And I do like it when mod authors don't just give me new mechanics, but kind of explain it and integrate it in with a story as well. So this is a like a little bonus, not something that I normally expect, but I like it when they do that. Um, but like he said, you'll just go to the Emporium in Neon, and that's where you're going to find this item.
Exquisite goods for discerning tastes.
So when you get in the little purchase menu here, it is, I'm normally used to when mod authors add these little items that can kind of like tweak the game mechanics a little bit. I'm used to them dropping into the miscellaneous tab um, with these items, but this is actually a piece of apparel, so don't do the same mistake I did. And I probably shouldn't have made that assumption since it's literally called a Neuro Link, which is a piece of apparel. But you'll see it here in the menu. It's a little shy of 15,000 credits to pick up, which is, relatively easy money to come by within this game. But once you do get this item and equip it, it is going to allow you to, kind of change those build menus. But there is a crucial thing to kind of go over here. When we do click on and equip it, there is an option to pay for the hacking of these build menus. Now, this is kind of like a little in-game feature to not make it too cheaty, but you can opt to not pay and then just do everything you want for free. I will mention that within the menu itself for hacking, you can switch this at any time. So if you made a mistake and you don't want to continue paying for it, you can turn it off. But let's move on to the actual menu. So after you pick that up, you're going to get a quest to basically go to a terminal and hack one of the menus itself. It does some little boops and beeps and does its little process here, and it's going to open a brand new menu for you. Which is going to allow you to kind of change things. One thing I would like to note is like the little menu chimes and everything is very well done and accents the game pretty well, and are new kind of sound effects to this. But as we can see within the build menu itself, pretty straightforward. If you want to enable stuff, you want to disable stuff. So this basically allows you to kind of customize your build menus to a degree, which can be like rather convenient if you want to, declutter some of the build menus a little bit. If there's like a lot of tabs you don't use, etc., to kind of make it decluttered, but also activate stuff that would not normally be available, including some stuff that's locked behind like skill points. You'll be able to unlock those recipes. So like, the upgraded storage containers, etc., stuff like that, robots, be able to unlock that and have that, assigned to whatever place you want to do. So we're back at Andromeda's Palace to kind of test this out. We have this home build menu that I've already hacked into and kind of adjusted a little bit of the, well, I basically just clicked the unlock all categories button, which basically just unlocks everything within the build menu, including, some different things that are locked behind different perk choices. But as you can see, we have everything that you can build in an outpost, you can build here. This is particularly advantageous because outside of Andromeda's Palace, there is an outpost builder, so you can build a little bit of outpost stuff, but around the whole entire place, there are a lot of home builder menus which could be hacked, so you could build a lot of different habs outside of here and really build onto Andromeda's Palace and kind of like make it into your own creation. Having that, outpost build menu is going to allow you to build additional habs, etc., and kind of make this into your own creation almost. But as you can see, everything's available here that is in the build menu itself. So we can basically, whatever we choose to, we can put down here. One thing I'm going to tell you is once you hack one of these build menus, you're not going to be able to access the build menu by clicking on the little box on the wall. You'll have to use the speed keys to do it. I don't find this as an issue because I use the speed keys anyways, but some might find this as a problem. I don't particularly. So let's get to the bit that I think is the most exciting part of this mod, which is assigning crew. We can assign crew to player homes, which is not done in the base game. And to be honest, that is the main reason why I don't use player homes, because they feel lonely, because no one's ever there. So there is a function in here where we can assign crew to basically any player home by clicking on it. Depending upon what you chose, this will either cost money or be free. Note you can change that in the settings section here in this menu to make it free again if you regret your decision, but I did not do that. You'll assign a bunch of players. They are not going to be available immediately upon exiting this menu. What you're going to have to do is reload back into the home, and then they'll be there. I really did not see any kind of hard limits on like how many people I could assign to a player home or one instance of the like home builder, because Andromeda's palace is a rather large area and it has several different build menus throughout to kind of accommodate for how large it is. But yeah, there doesn't seem to be a limit within this mod, so I think you could basically assign everyone to a player home and have it rather populated, or just assign like a couple people. You can even assign robots, like the maintenance robots that you get for the outposts, etc., can be assigned to a player home. But let's take a look at what it looks like. So once we load into the the interior cell again, it's going to get a chance to actually populate these people. So when I first loaded in, because Andromeda's palace was not designed with this intent, you see that they're all kind of on this ledge there. I had to push them off to get them to start pathing again, but other than that, it worked fine. In particular, with this location, I would likely assign them to several different of these build menus to kind of spread them out. I was just mainly testing the functionality here. But yeah, you might want to be a little bit more thought out about especially these larger player homes that have several areas where you could potentially assign different crew members, being specific about which of the build menu, like the little wall habs that you assign them at, because if there's like objects in a particular way, it might get in the way of them spawning, or they might like end up spawned on a ledge like that. But at a place like Andromeda's Palace, there is probably like 30 different build menus that you could place them at, all around the different place, and really spread out your crew members. But I think this is kind of a really important functionality, which is kind of missing from the base game. Just having that capacity to assign crew members to your home and make it a lot less lonely. So overall, what am I going to say? As far as Andromeda's Palace goes as a player home, um, it's like a 9.5 out of 10. I think the only thing I can think of that is really lacking from that area is the skybox. The landscape, all the surrounding it, is absolutely stunning. TG did wonderful details to like the interiors there. Didn't fully furnish it, so allowing the player to kind of furnish it themselves. But at the same time, she started the process a little bit, which, if you walk into like a straight up empty box, that can be kind of daunting. So that's my overall opinion. About a 9.5 out of 10. I would say it's probably a must mod if you're really into player homes. If you're like me and you're into outposts, maybe not. I'd say take it if it's aesthetically pleasing to you. You might want to pick it up. It is what was it? It was $4 in the creation store, and then Bards. We'll talk about that a little bit here. That was $5. That it does allow you the capacity to access things you wouldn't normally be able to access at player homes. This one I'm going to say is probably more focused towards people who enjoy player homes. Myself, I use Outposts, so I don't have the issue of whatchamacallit, not having crew members at the location that I set up as like my base camp within game, which like that's part of why I don't use player homes is you can't assign crew there. That does solve that problem. It also does make the build menu more accessible. Particular, you might, if you're doing a playthrough and you don't want to waste the perk points on, certain perks to unlock stuff within the build menu, you do have that option to go about that and hack that build menu. You could still purchase it with credits so you don't feel as cheaty. Or if you want to go all out and cheat, just toggle it off entirely. So that could save some perk points that you could allocate elsewhere instead of like into the outpost builder system itself. But yeah, I would 100% recommend Bards for people who play with player homes, and then it's going to be kind of situational if you're more of an outpost builder or a ship builder, and that's going to come primarily down to the ability to assign crew members. One thing I did talk with the mod author for Bards for a bit. He does have a mod coming out that I am super interested in. It is, what is it, Bard's Quantum Radio? I might be getting the title wrong, but it's going to be a radio mod. So one of those other things that has been drastically lacking from this game is the ability to have a radio. So he's adding that to the game, where it's going to have a couple different channels featuring some free music that is available online. It's in the public domain at this point in time. Also, some music that is within the game that you might only hear at specific locations. So, setting up several different channels. I know a lot of people have put different ideas in there, and he's currently seeking out some voice acting work for that as well. So that is something that really truly excites me. But if you are a person that loves player homes, this Neuro Link, it's a must pick up. The ability to be able to assign crew members to your homes does make this a game changer. But like always, please enjoy the rest of your night.